Our friend, our patron saint and Dorito Pope, if you are a member, Dorito Pope's in chat, please. Show your respect. Jeff Keighley, he landed himself in a little hot water because he dared to post on X a little tidbit of Microsoft's new AI-generated replica of Quake 2 that you can play in browser. Every frame is created on the fly by an AI world model. Play it here. And I actually did pull it up, and you can see people were were a little saucy about it, for sure. Really, Jeff? All that talk last December about developers' rights? I guess it was all just marketing thing for you, wasn't it? Stuff like that. I'll be real. I don't know if this is a sponsored post. He links to it. It might just be him sharing something cool. I don't know if this is sponsored. If it is or was, I would think that he would have to disclose that, but who knows? Either way, if he's just sharing like a new piece of tech that they've developed, I don't really get the blowback for it. Like if somebody's just, hey, look at this thing they made, I don't see why people are freaking out at him about it. But funnily enough, I think, the reactions to this were pretty predictable. The response has not been one of overwhelming positivity, let's just say, by the community. G-Man Live said, is anyone genuinely impressed or intrigued by this slop? Paul Tassi said, just played this and I'm endlessly impressed. This was really funny. How incredible technology or technological advancements end up producing just giant piles of shit with this will be good later sticky note on them, which is basically what this is. It's amazing tech because what they're doing is every single frame is generated by this AI. It's not like an actual executable game file. They're actually using like neural networks to produce this. And I'll pull it up and play it for you in a second. It is impressive on a technical level, but it does, beg the question, like, why are we doing this? And I do think that some people are missing why this exists because it's actually kind of like a no-duh. Mudahar said, I gave this a try on a video today. Genuinely have to ask, who's this even for? This is just a regurgitation of Quake 2, a game that can be played on almost anything far better. This isn't a new experience or preservation. It's just bastardization, which is true. I agree. But you have to pause and ask, why does this exist? Why did this get built out? And as you can see, start a new game. Here we go. Take up to a few minutes. Oh, please don't take a few minutes. Hold on, I'll refresh. Can I refresh? Agree. Okay, so I'm using the keyboard, pushing forward, looking right, and then there's a ton of latency. But as you can see, you can like turn, and then it's this actual AI version of the game that's running. Okay, that's what this is. Impressive tech because it's all machine learning. It's not actually a video game. This is actually just an AI trying to imitate a video game, which is impressive that it's this competent. The level doesn't change as you run through it. It stays pretty much the same. You can move through it. There's basic mechanics, stuff like that. But you do have to pause and ask, who's this for? What is this about? Well, here's the thing. Something like this. Yeah, you can see the enemies are just like floating ghosts, basically, because that's the AI's version of them, but still. This exists because executives think in 5 years, 10 years, this can basically replace game developers. That's the entire idea, okay? Like, that's the entire idea. If you're pausing and thinking, why would Microsoft spend millions upon millions, if not billions on this? It's because executives look at it and think, oh, so this will basically make it so one day we can just type in, make a new Quake, make a new Call of Duty, give it 10 minutes, and it'll make a new one we can sell. And it cost us basically nothing other than like the processing power and all that. That's the idea. That's why executives are excited by this. Do I think that ever happens? No. Do I think executives think that's what's going to happen? Oh, yeah. You don't even have to ask me. There's interviews with like Satya Nadella where he talks about this, where he's like, yeah, this is the future of game development. This is the future of what we're doing. Without a doubt, that's why this exists, because the hope is to eventually get to the point where you can basically just type in what kind of game you want, and then you go in, you offer notes, just like having a conversation with like ChatGPT or Grok or any of those tools. You could type in, oh, well, edit this, change this level to have this kind of boss. Make it a big, giant brute, 3 times the size of the player. Give him an axe, and the axe should be purple, and give the character horns, and make his attacks really chaotic. But clearly signal that. And you type in all of this, and then the AI will generate the game, and then there's a button to export it, and then you sell it through your platform. That's why executives are excited about this, because they think that eventually that's what this will allow you to do. And eventually that will replace all of these really expensive people that cost so much to make games for you. That's why this exists. So people who are like, who is this for? It's not for Quake 2. That's not what this is. This is like a tech demo showcasing the tech and how the proof of concept basically works. You remember a couple months ago, we looked at another earlier version of this, and it was just like, they had spent tons of money on training an AI model on Bleeding Edge, which was the previous game from Ninja Theory, the live service game that went nowhere. And it could generate like a few seconds of footage. Even though it wasn't real, it could generate what looked like video game footage. This is the next step in that. And it is impressive as a technological achievement. It's not beating out a game. It's not replacing a video game, but it's showing that in theory, you could sort of get this thing working where the AI basically is the game, or you can train the AI into a game. It's what they're trying to do. But fundamentally, like, video games are a creative endeavor. They require, as far as I'm concerned, human participation and human creativity and thought. And it's only ever going to be as good as what you're training it on, or on what the people controlling it control it to do or command it to do. You know, might be able to speed some stuff up. There's been some tools I've seen that are very impressive where it can create like a 3D, very loud, I'm sorry. Where it can like create this really cool 3D model off of just a picture.
Luke 600 donated $1.20.
Thank you.
Hey Luke, where did you get the Concord t-shirt from?
This I believe is the same shirt. Somebody sent it in. It's the same shirt from the PlayStation Store, I believe. They're all sold out now, and I don't think they're going to be making more. Just call it a hunch. I don't think they're making more. But yeah, I believe this is the same shirt that they sold on their like merch page when the game first dropped. That's my understanding, at least. Yeah, very, very exclusive limited edition. Yeah. But anyway, like when people ask why this exists, it's because executives hope that one day this replaces the very expensive people. That's why. And this is the next step in it. And I'm sure in a year or 2 years, we're going to see another update that is probably even more impressive, where they've like done an AI recreation of Halo, of the original Halo. And it's pretty close. Not identical. Probably runs like crap, probably very slow, but it'll be a step forward. It'll be even better and more impressive. And they will get impressive and be very cool. But funnily enough, there was actually an interview from Strauss Zelnick, who is himself not exactly he's not afraid of laying people off or of downsizing or replacing people with tech, right? Let me see if I can find the interview real quick. Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, the guy's making GTA 6, what he said was that AI cannot be the future, almost by definition, because by necessity, it's backwards looking. And as he says, AI games aren't a threat to the broader industry. They're not going to replace anything. And he puts it very, very simply. What he says is, I'm not worried about AI creating hits because it's built on data that already exists. It's backwards looking. Big hits are forward looking and therefore need to be created out of thin air. Being the most creative means not just thinking outside the box, it means there is no box. I cannot believe that I'm snapping in agreement with Strauss freaking Zelnick of all people. But I think he is absolutely right. AI tools are trained on previously existing data sets. They're trained on, in this case, for the Quake thing, it's trained on footage of Quake 2. It's trained on the game of Quake 2, which someone already made. It is literally just an imitation of something somebody else made. Even other tools like Grok or ChatGPT, they're trained on previous data sets. So I wonder if we can actually get this to work. I remember seeing an old demo where somebody was like, generate an image of a glass of red wine that is overflowing. Let me see if it can generate the image. Because in previous versions of these tools, it couldn't generate it because it was trained on all these pictures of glasses of wine, which are traditionally half filled. Because you look on like stock pictures of glasses of wine, they're always filled just about to the middle of the glass. And just like you see here, because the AI is trained on pictures of glasses of wine on the internet, which are almost always filled to this same level, it can't do it. Even though my request is very, very clear, it's struggling and can't. So it generates, even though I said glass of red wine overflowing, very clear. It generated 2 glasses that are not overflowing, you know? And this is like a well-known issue. The other one was like, I think it was generate a picture of a watch on someone's, like something you wouldn't see a picture of traditionally, on someone's ankle with the hands at maybe, what's a weird time, 7:23 p.m. I guess PM doesn't really matter, but because like clock hands and watch hands during promotional pictures and in promotional materials tend to be on like the even split of like 10:11 or 10:10. This could be very weird. Asking for it to put it on an ankle sounds kind of weird, but let's see what it does. Yeah, so it still put the watch on like her hand, not on her ankle. And also this leg is coming out of her chest, not her hip. And it's not at 7 or anywhere near 7:23. Because it just can't do it. This is very weird. It's a bizarre image. But this is because these models are trained on data sets that exist. They do not actually create stuff the way that a human could. They are trained to sort of imitate it. They're trained to create what they think you want to see to the best of their ability, given their training on data sets. And that's why like tools like this are impressive in many ways, but they're never going to replace people creating things. If we can ever get to the point where one of these AI tools can legitimately create stuff, then maybe, but they, you know, they're getting better at understanding, or they're getting better at being able to eventually do this, because people will point this out and like they can train specifically around it with dedicated data sets meant to counter it. So like even here with ChatGPT, generate an image of a watch that is gold and its hands show the time. We'll do the same exact thing, 7:23, and I'll just say PM because it shouldn't matter, but still. Let's see. Come on. It's working. Let's see if ChatGPT can do it. Nope. Because in all of these promotional pictures, they're trained on this time. They're trained on what looks aesthetically pleasing in the marketing materials. So even though you very clearly state, make it at 7:23, it can't do that. It can do the other stuff. It knows what a gold watch is and what that should look like, but it can't do it. Wine glass, let's try the wine glass. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe. I'm kind of excited. I'm like, oh, maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know what, I mean, it's closer. It's just kind of like splashing. It's closer. I'll give him that. It's better. It's better. But again, this is just why I think while these tools are impressive, to create an AI version of Quake 2, it just fundamentally does not replace it. But executives are giddy about it because they think that one day it eventually will. Like that guy, yeah, see, the moment he exited frame, he disappeared, and now his body's on the floor. Somehow I killed him, I guess. I don't know. Oh, dude, it's so laggy. This is like impossible. It's so funny though. But there you go. There you go. So that's why I think this exists. But why I think ultimately it's not actually a threat. And I think it's mostly executives that don't understand how games are made that are investing billions into this because they think this is where the future is, when I just don't think it is. He took my thing.
red flag,